Hi and then welcome to my book corner. We have the library tag today. Massive thank you to Sue over at Suey's Book Banter for tagging me in this one. This is a tag originally created by the Book Buds. I will link to both of their videos and channels down below in the description for you to go and check out. But this is the library book tag, and there's two lots of prompts for this. The longer one is if you do go to the library. The shorter one is if you don't. I will be doing the shorter one. I am going to get a little bit political with question one in particular. It'll be clear why when I get there. And I'm also going to mention something that's slightly off-brand as well, but we'll get there. So we're doing the second lot of prompts from the list down below, starting with question one. If you don't go to the library, why the heck not? And the reason for this is very simple. The library system in the UK has been ravaged by underfunding for a decade and a half at least at this point, and arguably you could say potentially longer. Libraries, whilst they are protected and ring-fenced in theory, in terms of a library service has got to be provided within the regions, there's a bit of variation on what that actually means. There's no clear-cut explanation of how many books per person for the population should be in there, how many libraries should be in a given area. All that sort of stuff is really wishy-washy. On top of that, there has been a massive defunding of libraries. A couple of reasons for this. First off, in the last 14 years, there have been somewhere around 800 library closures here in the UK. A lot of libraries as well have now become shared spaces, which is not in itself a bad thing, where they will double up as a drop-in for Job Centre Plus and benefits offices. They'll double up as places to see citizens' advice, doctors in some cases as well, and general sort of welfare appointments. Due to this, you have seen a reduction in the amount of books that are in a number of libraries. This is very, very obvious in the bigger of the two libraries near where I live, which at best has a third of the selection it had 15, 20 years ago. The other thing, due to the reductions due to budgets from the government, and I'm being very clear on this, the actual budget for libraries has reduced by about £250 million over the last 14 years. And that is not adjusted for inflation. That is just a sheer reduction from around £1 billion in 2009 to 750 million in 2019, which is a massive reduction. This has led to a reduction in opening times, reduction in staff, reduction in the amount of libraries, and finally a reduction in the choice of books. Now, the other reason why I don't really use the library is because when I've then gone onto the Libby app, Libby for my local city library, which is Salford City Library, is shit. It's about 250 titles in total. It's abysmal. Now, I have discovered in the last 24 hours another library app that, again, links with the city libraries using your library card, and that has a much bigger selection, talking in the thousands. So I am going to potentially start drawing digital books and audiobooks out. I've not been fully through the list as yet though. So that fetches me on after that rant to number 2. Where do you get your books from? I buy them. Generally I will buy new. So sometimes I go to the bookstore, so your big ones being Waterstones here in the UK, Blackwell's as well, which I've just discovered there's one in Manchester, visiting that one in a few days and accidentally spending money, I suspect. Also, there's a company called The Works, which is kind of a discount store that sells crafting stuff and books and various other bits of tat. Very limited selection of books, but you tend to find a lot of the popular TikTok books in there, but considerably cheaper than elsewhere. Amazon and eBay as well. Amazon is probably the one I buy more from, if I'm completely honest, due to price points and convenience, which is really a bad habit. I do buy secondhand for Amazon as well and eBay. I do go occasionally into the charity shops or thrift stores, as I think you call them in the US. There's not a great deal near where I live, and the book selection is not especially exciting. So there we go. I do also have Audible for audiobooks. And as just mentioned, I am going to be checking out the app that I found, which I can't remember if I said what it was called before, but it's called BorrowBox. So I'm going to be checking that out as well, and maybe not spending as much money on books, which will be grand. Number 3, have you ever had a library card, or do you have one now? Yes and yes. I had one for years and years and years. I now have a new one. I only have it for my local libraries, which is Salford Community Leisure Libraries, which is for the city of Salford. I haven't looked into getting any other ones as yet. Number 4, when was the last time you stepped foot in a library? And the last time I stepped foot in a library was not to use library services. So if we ignore that, you're looking at a few years ago. And by a few years ago, I'm probably talking just after COVID really sort of lifted, to be honest. And the only reason I went in was because it was absolutely belting down with rain. I just picked up my youngest from nursery, or not nursery, from school, and there was a gap between him coming out and my eldest coming out. So we went into the library, sat down in like the kids section and read a few books, which was really, really nice. The selection was still not great though. 5, have you ever gone to an event at your library? Not as an adult. There's not a huge amount of events in our local libraries, and the ones that there are actually quite hard to find if you're not on Facebook, which I am not. They're generally managed through Facebook groups and not the actual library websites, which is a little bit frustrating. When I was younger, I used to go to all sorts of events at libraries, especially as a kid, when the selection was considerably bigger than it is now. Especially during like school holidays and stuff, they'd do basically childcare sessions and crafting sessions and reading sessions and all sorts. Nowadays, there's not as many events at the libraries, certainly near me. They are very much few and far between. There is a book club. Unfortunately, the books that are being covered in the book club, or the period that I've been looking at for the last couple of years, are not books that I would personally choose to read. And also I work weird shifts, so actually attending a book club is not the easiest thing for me to do because my shift pattern varies horrifically. Number 6, do you have any little free libraries, book boxes, or book swaps where you live? No. It's a little bit frustrating actually because I love the idea of the little free libraries. It's something that we've not really got any of locally. I think the nearest one to here is over in Charlton somewhere, and I don't drive. They are in the UK, they're just not overly numerous as yet. I think they're going to get more popular as time goes on. Book boxes, don't know what they are. Book swaps. In my local supermarket, there's a little wheelie trolley that's maybe 2 foot wide and 2 foot tall that has books on there that people donate, and you can donate books to it, take books off it. That's the only one I know of locally, and I've done a little bit of research and I can't find anything else, which is a massive, massive shame. I don't have a picture of it, unfortunately, and it would be a sad picture anyway if I did. Number 7, tag some friends. So the people I want to tag in this. So, Marissa Thoman, because I know that you're a Libby user, but do you physically go to a library? I want to know. Obviously, my good friend Noah over at the Bookworm. I suspect his answers may be really close to mine. And finally, a massive purveyor of libraries and also the Libby app, my good friend Jaleesa over at Reading Beyond the Book Cover. You are the 3 people I'm tagging to do this one. I can't wait to see your answers. I apologise for my political rant at the beginning. I just find it horrific how underfunded libraries are, especially when you see, I've seen various news reports of how central they're becoming as social spaces in the US for some people, especially younger people. But there we go. That is my library tag. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you'll forgive the rant. I'll catch you all soon.